Live from the Export Beer Garden Studios, this is the feature-length agenda for Thursday, the 10th of August.
The Agenda, an alternative commentary collective podcast.
Yeah, g'day there. Welcome along to the feature-length agenda with myself, G Lane, Matt Heath,
Present.
and Manaia Stewart.
Also present.
Yeah, you've been to the doctor. You've been to the doctor.
Yep.
We're all fit and healthy. Matt, looks like you've had a big night.
Yeah, I had a big night. Had a colonoscopy the other day, actually.
Oh, speaking of big nights,
Yeah, that was a
did
big
you
night.
did you get that done overnight? You sure it was a colonoscopy and not just out the back of K Road at a family bar?
He said it was. It was out the back of Family Bar. He said it was a colonoscopy. But apparently, clean bill of health. He really liked what he saw up there.
Can you tell me, Matt, what kind of drugs they give you? Because you took a selfie just before penetration, and you look like the happiest I've ever seen you. I've known you a long time now, but that face was a face of pure joy.
I think they give you fentanyl or some version of it, because I've never felt so happy, just so warm and embraced and loved, and no problems in the past, no problems in the future, and that's a lot when someone's got a camera up your butt.
Yeah,
you know,
ready for anything.
if you can't see any problems. If you can't see any problems in your life and someone's worming a camera up your butt, then those are pretty good drugs.
Do you get to see what do they give you a heads up display of that camera? Do you get a vision of that?
You do.
Do you get a DVD?
You get. They send you the highlights.
Is it to music?
pictures.
Is it to music?
It's not to music.
The highlight reel. Put it on YouTube up there with Benji Marshall touch highlights.
If you had to have a soundtrack to that DVD that you got sent, what would it be? What music would you have?
Probably Bill Withers. Lovely day. Lovely day. It's gonna be a lovely day. That's probably what I'd choose.
Oh yeah, I'd go Highway to Hell. As it worms its way up my colon.
What are you seeing when it's going up there?
It's just sort of like sort of a long and windy road, really.
The Sarlacc pit.
Do you bump into Mr. Hanky?
Yeah, that's sort of what I was getting at. Like, is there any?
No, because like you guys were around when I was on air when I was. You do a complete and utter draining of your entire body.
Right.
Oh God, I'll bring that. You talk amongst yourselves.
I don't know if I want to say this, to be honest. I mean, I got my ears flushed out this morning, and that was sickening enough. It was about a fingertip worth of wax came out of each of them, and subsequently I can hear things from 3 blocks away this morning.
You're like a bat.
I am like a bat.
There is a piece of audio. Now, why did I ask the question about Mr. Hanky? Because
here you go.
If I had, because
I sent this to G Lane because this was my last bowel movement before I went in.
Okay.
And bear in mind, this is poos, not wheeze. Oh no, hang on, not that one.
This.
Oh, what's that one?
Okay, if you're eating, put it down. Even if you're drinking. Oh my God.
I'm impressed by the volume.
And you laughing? Oh! Okay, stop it. Oh, but there's no
Mr. Hanky left up there.
I can definitely hear better this morning. I wish I couldn't, but I definitely can.
I picked a bad day to get my ears sucked.
That it says the bit in the middle there where you're kind of laughing because you're recording it in the toilet, obviously, and you're so pleased with yourself that in the middle there you can hear it.
I was so surprised. I was so surprised how it was coming out.
It was so much volume.
Yeah.
Well, because that's the mass evacuation, isn't it? That's the tsunami alert that they give you.
Oh, this wasn't that's not a regular movement for you. No. Okay, sorry.
This is the one after you've taken all the laxatives and drugs to clear out your system so the camera can go up and not see anything.
Sorry, I thought that was a daily occurrence for you.
No.
Mate, if you've got any of the symptoms, go and get yourself checked and book yourself in for a colonoscopy.
Yeah.
Okay. If you've got any symptoms of bowel, they're like redness, the tissue, irregular movements, a little bit of stuff being caught on the shelf. I don't know. Look them up. I forgot.
Yeah, what happened there is Mr. Hanky got liquefoed.
Yeah, okay.
So
that's why
he got vaporized.
That's why he didn't feature in the highlight reel afterwards.
That's right. That feels eliminated. Okay, well that's
anyone listening? Anyone still with us?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Let's get back on topic. We've covered enough this week around the All Blacks announcement or World Cup announcement. I think we've ticked that off.
I've got one other thing on the World Cup squad, and that's if Roger Tuivasa-Sheck is quite clearly not in their plans, and up until now everyone's been saying he's obviously not, and even he would admit that he probably wasn't on Foster's radar. Can we just have him back? because
Yeah.
Chance Nickel Klokstad, he's just got his third concussion.
He got
Yeah,
clocked.
why are you holding on to him? You've said you don't want him.
Is there-
Break up
yeah,
with him.
yeah.
You know? There's a song about that, eh?
He's stringing him along.
Is there
If you don't really want me, babe. What's that song? There's
You're cooking this, Barbie.
Yeah. You know, you want me, babe. You just keep me hanging on.
Yeah, another
You
one.
don't really need me, babe. It's like, don't keep him hanging on. Just
Yeah.
let him, because we want as many months as we can with him playing for the Wires, right?
But the only way is if it's an injury, isn't it? Because otherwise
Yes.
he gets over. Otherwise he blows their salary cap out of the water. Because you can't have a star player like him come on $10 a week.
Yes, 100%. That is a rule in the NRL. But thankfully, we've had just that injury, and at fullback as well. Chance Nickel Klokstad got his, as we mentioned before, he got clocked last week. That's his third concussion this year, so he's going to be out for a while, at least this game. So why not bring RTS in now? I know we've been saying this ever since he said he was coming back to the Warriors. Just come back now. Well, what's to lose now?
Apart from Sonny Bill Williams, how many people have successfully flipped over? I mean, obviously Sonny Bill's incredibly successful.
A lot of
So,
Aussies. Only Aussies.
Yeah,
Only Aussies.
a lot of
Yeah.
Aussies. Suliasi Vunivalu used to play for the Storm. He's now playing for the Wallabies.
Korimbete?
Yeah,
He
I feel
played
like
league.
he did. I feel like he did. Ngani Laumapi did as well. There was an English centre. They all play second five. I don't know why. It doesn't matter if you were a prop or a fullback in rugby league. You end up playing second five when you cross over. But yeah, a few wingers. Will Warbrick went the other way. He won a medal with the Sevens team, and now he's playing on the wing for the Storm.
Benji Marshall, not so much.
Look, no natural position for Benji in rugby union. You know, there's no net. He's not a fullback. He's not really a first five. He's certainly not a halfback. So,
But you know what? We've banged on so much about this RTS situation that I think the rugby union are like a 6-year-old child.
Yep.
You know, you keep on telling them, and they just dig their feet further
Yeah.
into it. And I go, I'm not cleaning my room. I'm not cleaning your room.
Yeah.
I'm not cleaning my room. And you go on long enough.
it's a matter of principle at this
And now,
point.
absolutely.
And also the dick swinging that goes on in rugby union, where they're just going to be like, he is signed to the New Zealand Rugby Union for the next 3 months,
Oh.
so he will be playing. You know, or we will.
NPC.
Yeah, that's right. And it's like, oh, come on, man! It's going to mean so much more to the country if the Warriors win the NRL this year.
So true.
Hey, speaking about the World Cup squad,
Yeah.
how does Damien McKenzie fit into this piece?
Wow.
I see Damien McKenzie as, and there's one of these players every World Cup, as the guy that carves up Namibia and Uruguay and all of those teams.
Yeah.
So do you remember in the last World Cup we had TJ Perenara and Brad Weber playing at the same time at one point, and they scored this amazing try down
Yes.
the sideline?
Yes,
yeah,
I remember that.
It was incredible. That's what Damien McKenzie's going to do. He is going to tear these shitty teams new arseholes, and then I think when it comes nut crunch time, I think we've seen it's going to be Richie at
Yep.
10, and maybe Damien off the bench as cover, but
Maybe at fullback,
maybe, but
not at first five.
no, but we've just got so many flexible players. You know, Geordie Barrett has been named as a midfielder, but he can play fullback. Lester
Yeah,
can play in the
obviously.
centres.
Yeah.
Will Jordan could play fullback or wing. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, McKenzie's going to razzle the fuck out of some.
But you're gonna have Bodie and Bloody and
Richie.
Mwanga starting, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
'cause,
think that's-
they'll be. It's the twin pivot.
So you know,
but
it's not- it's
but
not-
no one's calling it the twin pivot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one's calling it because it's cursed after
Yeah.
Japan.
Yeah.
Who goes,
Terrible.
oh, twin pivot. Now no one's saying twin pivot. Don't say twin pivot.
Nah.
But you're not in a situation where your sub is moving Bodie up to pivot.
No.
And bringing Damien on at the back, eh?
you
So
got
you
Moana.
don't, I just don't feel like you've got a really solid 10 replacement.
You got Mwanga playing 80 if you can.
Yeah, he'll be playing 80. Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, so we've got 4 World Cups this year.
It's fucking insane.
We're 0 from 2. We're 0 from 2 in terms of not even making the knockout stages.
Are you talking what that incredibly successful New Zealand Women's FIFA World Cup?
And netball.
Yeah, because I was listening to the coach yesterday, I forget her name, and she was
Yimka
saying,
Klickova.
yeah, she was very happy with how things went.
Yitka
Very,
Klickova.
very happy, and they achieved everything they want. And I was like, you scored one fucking goal in the whole thing. Like, I mean, look, I think you could be like, we've made progress, but she was fizzing.
Well,
she
she-
was happy. She'd
she's-
achieved everything.
She's probably comparing it to the All Whites in South Africa because they came away saying they had an exemplary World Cup and they didn't lose a game.
Oh, the Silver Ferns, you mean?
No, I'm talking about the All Whites.
Oh, yes, right.
In
Yeah.
South Africa. Oh, no, we'll get to the Silver Ferns.
Right.
They had an absolute shock. Actually, they made the knockout rounds, but they got knocked out.
I think it's impossible not to make the knockout rounds in the Netball World Cup.
That's true.
When you're playing Uganda and Sri Lanka at netball,
Yeah.
it's going to be tough not to make it.
If you fuck up, it's over very quickly in the Netty World Cup, isn't it? Because they play games so often, it's like, we're not doing well, we're out.
Yeah, it was a school camp. It was a school program. It was a school holiday program. They had to get it over and done within 10 days.
Until the billets couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, that's right. Until all their stuff had been stolen from the hotels. But zero from two. We've got two more chances in. We've got the Rugby World Cup and the Cricket World Cup.
Yeah.
And it's going to come at 100 miles an hour. So the Rugby World Cup, you'd think would make the knockouts. What's a good result for the All Blacks in the World Cup, Matt Heath?
If we don't win, we lose. That's the thing with the Rugby World Cup.
Yeah, it's true.
We're the only team in the world that loses World Cups.
Yeah.
Some teams win them and some teams have a campaign, but we either win or lose the World Cup.
Yeah,
that's the way we see it.
Yeah, there's so much pressure on us to excel, or otherwise we're shit.
I feel that I don't feel there's that much compared to last year.
Yeah.
And the kind of defending champs situation. I don't think there's that much pressure on us.
No, you're right.
As compared to previous years.
You're right. We don't have the weight of the world, everybody looking at us, and this year everyone's looking at France, your islands, and that kind of thing.
But all those teams are shitting the bed. Like France lost to Scotland.
Yeah.
England lost to Wales. Australia's lost to Argentina.
Yeah, I know, but it's like pre-World Cup.
Yeah, it doesn't mean shit.
A lot of foxing. We don't like to fox.
Yeah, we don't like to fox.
We don't like to fox because if we fox, then everyone just runs them down further.
If we fox, the entire nation turns up at the stadium, at Forsyth Bar Stadium, holding pitchforks and tiki torches.
We go fox! Bring Fozzie out! Bring him out!
Crucify him at halfway. I think that we're going to fox a little bit in the South Africa game because you know how we're going over to England. We're going to play South Africa before.
That seems like a risk. That seems like a very risky money maneuver. That one.
I know. It's very
at Twickers as well.
Yeah,
it's just a pure cash grab.
And it reeks of a fox because Fozzie was saying, oh, yeah, we're going to bring Brad Weber, we're going to bring George Bell.
Summer Penny Finau.
And a few other guys. And he's like, and I think that they'll all get a run as well. And it's just reeks of a fox to me.
Yeah.
Well,
why would you play?
Can you imagine a situation where Richie Mo'unga gets injured at that pointless game at Twickenham?
He won't play. Aaron Smith won't play.
Yeah.
Bodie Barrett won't play. Retallick won't play. Whitelock won't play.
Basically, it's one of those situations that when your lack of selection is the compliment.
Yes.
So basically, if you're not selecting, thanks, Fozzie.
Yeah.
Thanks. You really love me.
It was when South Africa came over here and then they played Australia on the way here and they sent about 14 dudes straight to New Zealand and they skipped out the Australian league. It's like, these are our best cattle. They will not be getting injured before they play.
So you guys are in the money-making detail heading off to Twickenham.
Yeah. So that game, it's like on the 27th or 28th?
26th.
26th, so there you go. It's 6:30 in the morning.
When are we over there?
We're over there end of September.
30th
of September. So that's sneaking up as well.
Right.
But we've got all the games live and free on Radio Hauraki and iHeart Radio for the entire World Cup. That South Africa game will be on Sky Sport 9 as well, and it's your last chance to get hold of that Ford Ranger from Trust Motors too.
Ooh,
in that
yeah.
game. And then we draw it. We draw the Ford Ranger the following Monday on the Matt and Jerry show on Radio Hauraki.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Yeah.
Delightful destination this week as well. So
the next one?
if you haven't entered, you've got to guess where I am with the Ute, and I've seen the draft of this one, and it's just a beautiful part of the country.
If you give one, I've seen a little bit of it as well. Actually, there's some great little hot spots in that place, and then like if you've driven through it, you'll know.
Yep.
You'll know. There may be some people from the deep south who might not get it, but you just have to phone a friend.
Yeah, 100%.
I'd say phone a friend on that.
They'll know
one.
straight away.
Yeah.
Ring in Auckland.
Absolutely. Speaking of World Cups, obviously just touched on the Cricket World Cup that's happening in India in October, November. New Zealand named their team to go to England for a white ball series. Steady the Ship is already in England.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's already in England. He's obviously married a lovely English lady, so he's over there visiting their family, and then he's going to hook up with the New Zealand team and train with them and follow them around for that tour. So do we dare to dream?
I know that you're dreaming, and I had to have a look to put a monetary value on your dreams.
Yep.
New Zealand are paying $8.50 outright to win this World Cup. The favourites won't surprise you. India $3.10, Aussie $4.20. Did you see that they've moved one of our games?
Have they already?
So this morning they moved 4 games because there was a chance of overlap with India v Pakistan. And they moved the India v Pakistan game, the time, I think. They moved that and then have it reshuffled. Like, it's the clearest flouting of any rules in any sport, the way that India administers cricket, international cricket. It's out of control.
Absolutely.
They don't even hide it anymore.
No.
Like, if you want, We're giving you all the money. You do what we say.
Yeah, but having just watched Oppenheimer and living in existential dread over the fear of nuclear fallout, if India and Pakistan want to have their own game, go for it. You guys do whatever you need to do.
I've got something that might change the odds, actually, against New Zealand. We had Gary Stead, Black Caps coach, on the Matt and Jerry show this morning.
Yep.
And Jeremy delivered a very erotic poem that he'd written about Trent Bolt, lovely Trenty, to Gary Stead in one of the most awkward 2 minutes of my radio career. I'm not sure why.
More awkward than Do You Shave Your Downstairs?
Well, let's not get into the Mahuta files, but I'll share this poem.
Okay.
That Jerry wrote for
and this is
lovely Trenty. And for some reason, he delivered it to Gary Stead. So you get someone on the radio to interview him, and then that interviewee is silent on the phone.
Was he on the phone? Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Silent on the phone.
Has to be like, oh, okay, thanks.
He goes, so I want to deliver this poem for lovely Trenty. He goes, lovely Trenty. He turns expectantly. In his eyes, a boyish yearn. Mouth pursed, small, perfectly formed. What size is mother's nips? Gliding, striding, like a finely tuned jaguar. Not the car, the cat. He loads and fires. Tiny gob ready to receive the accolades of fandom, completion, relief, the glistening product of love for a stick and a ball.
Why does the gob receive the...
Yeah, that's the most problematic line, and this is why I think New Zealand's odds at the TAB will be plummeting, because Gary Stead cannot get the awkwardity of this line out of his mind. Every time he's talking to lovely Trenty, tiny gob ready to receive the accolades of fandom.
So Jeremy,
the accolades of fandom.
So Jeremy requested that he read that to Trenty in the changing room. Is that right?
No, well, I don't know what plans he has, but he requested that he could read that poem that he'd written about lovely Trenty to Gary Stead.
Why?
I don't know. No one knows. It's an insane. It was disgusting, depraved. Minute where I was standing there in the studio. Gary Stead didn't know what to do.
No, what was he supposed to do?
There's nothing.
Thank you,
Did he
Jeremy.
say thank you?
He said, "Could you write one of those for all my players?"
I feel like Jeremy would take him up on that. More problematic for me than the tiny mouth receiving the accolades of fandom is what size are mother's nips. I don't know that lovely Trenty's mother needed a drive-by in that situation.
Mouth pursed, small, perfectly formed. What size is mother's nips? Well, there is the theory that Trent Bolt's mouth evolved so small because his mum had small nipples.
But that wouldn't give you an advantage. You can still have a big mouth.
But for me,
you know what I mean?
Because you say that anyone with a big mouth just presume that their mums are operating ginormous nips.
We've strayed pretty far from God's path here.
Sorry. It's not.
I just don't know why we need to be talking about Trenty's mum.
Yeah, no, I
why
get
she
it.
needed to be dragged into that.
I get it.
She often gets dragged in. It's all right.
But I mean, that's definitely one thing's for sure. That definitely doesn't help our chances in the World Cup. Does it?
No, that certainly won't. But looking at the team, and I mentioned to Manaia yesterday that I was a bit pessimistic about lovely Trenty was dropping out. Steady the Ship was injured. I was like, oh god. But Steady the Ship's. I'm holding out hope. Lovely Trenty's back. Big Gulliver's back.
Yeah.
Kyle Jamison's back. Lockie Ferguson's back in the team. Adam Milne's back in the team. We've got Devon Conway, the three-way. Like, I'm going,
it's a pretty good team. It's a pretty good team.
And they've been around a bit. They've been in the building. We don't really know what they've been doing.
Yeah, what have they been doing?
Kyle Jamison, Tom Latham are the two that I remember seeing.
I saw Will Young,
and they've been just flitting in about. They must have been doing some sort of interview with someone upstairs.
No, but they got access cards.
Oh, did they?
They went straight to the lifts, and I was like,
oh,
fuck are you going?
Yeah.
They gave me a
Fuck
They gave me a hi, and I went, hi, like suspiciously. They didn't go to reception and no one picked them up.
There you go. What the fuck are you guys doing?
Yeah. Well, that's why I was going to step them out for their shoes before I did that.
Kyle Jamison, though, being in part of that squad, that fills me with hope because, if you don't think Kyle Jamison's going to feature in the World Cup, you probably don't send him to media, although we don't know that it's media, is it? Because who's upstairs on the top floor?
Pernod Ricard.
What do they do?
Booze. Lawyers.
I think there's a shipping company up there.
Oh, there's also, I think there's Chorus. They might be laying some cable.
Oh, yeah, could be.
And I think the lawyers have left, so it can either be Chorus, laying cable, some shipping, Maersk. some booze with Purno. But I say that that's about it.
Yeah.
Or News Talk ZB or the Herald. But I don't know. I didn't see. They came in every day, a different pair.
But they look good, and that's my point.
Yeah,
It's a huge omen. It's a huge omen for this World Cup.
Well, you're just looking at it, and we're back in that situation now, aren't we? Where we've got like options on attack. And,
Absolutely. The bowling. But I mean, look, let's not kid ourselves. They're going to India, where pace is not necessary. I mean, extreme pace is good.
Did I see Sodhi in that squad?
No, he wasn't in that. Not their squad for England. This is the England squad only.
Oh, right.
I think he's opted out of this tour just to come back because he's getting punished around the world and as a T20 player. But I suppose the spin options there. They've got Ravindra and they've got Satna.
Yeah.
But India, the pitches in India are not really going to suit your Tim Southees. I mean, Trenty's pretty successful in the IPL. I mean, Tim Southees plays in the IPL as well. I don't know, but it just
how many times there was a highlights package that went up of Trent Bolt at the IPL? How many times does he bowl people? Compared to other bowlers. He hits the stumps more than it must be nearly anyone.
Well, it's up there. It's that left arm, in swinging Yorker to right hand opening batsman. It's that classic delivery, and we've seen it over and over again with that. He brilliantly bowls it across the batsman a couple of times, lulls them in, then hoops one back in.
Yeah.
And also that montage. How many wickets did he get in the Major League Cricket?
But the Major League Cricket is bizarre. I watched the opening few games. There's a bloke by the name of Rusty Trombone. He bowled Martin Guptill out. Andre Russell had to try and rescue their innings. It's a real weird situation set up that Major League.
Did the crowd stay for it?
Yeah, there was big crowds. I mean, there were small grounds. I don't think 4,000 or 5,000 capacity.
Baseball pitches that have been converted into cricket ovals, and a lot of the fans were of subcontinental descent. That it looked like a home game for Bangladesh whenever they play. So, but they did stick around, and it was packed out as well.
Yeah, it is basically the IPL, I think, funding that one. Into there,
100%.
It's all IPL teams.
It's all the same teams, and Andre Russell has played for whatever team he plays for. I can't remember what they're called. Let's say they're the Knight Riders.
The Knight Riders, I think it is.
Wherever they've set up a new Knight Riders in whatever country, he has played in that first game for them. So he must be on some ridiculous salary to just go around and be the Knight Riders guy. Dre Russ.
I don't know if you also saw social media lit up with Marcus Stoinis. He got papped on the streets. It looked like he was in New York or something, but probably just Melbourne.
I've watched this video about 10 times, but never with the sound on, so I still don't know what it's about. I think it's one of those ones where they go around and they stop people on the street and go, "Excuse me, mate, what do you do for a job?" I think that's what it is. I actually haven't seen it.
Because he looks like a smoke show, and then he's got his real boffer of a missus as well, who looks like they're off to a ball of some description. Yeah. The cameraman does linger a long time from the neck down on both of them.
Right.
And with the sound off, it's a very unusual set of circumstances, but then he ends up taking photos of them and shooting them.
I don't know what it was. I need to watch it again with the sound on for a bit of context.
And they're both a couple of real boffers. That's all I'm going to say.
Too hot. They're too hot. He's too hot. She's too hot. They don't just don't look like real people.
Yeah.
Will she have caught the Stoinis infection, though, from him?
Wow, 100%. Almost certainly so.
Where are we at on the vaccine for that? I don't think we've quite got there.
Okay, well, we'll move on to the WAS, FML Stadium in Hamilton, in the Tron.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, this is great. It's sold out, but this is a Tigers home game. So all of that money is going to go over to Sydney, to the Tigers. What a genius move from the Tigers, who suck currently on the NRL table.
And the last 3 years, the NRL's been like, we need to repay New Zealand for everything they've done to keep the thing afloat. And so what they've done is they've gone, well, Tigers, they're going to take one of their home games over New Zealand as a way to give back to the fans, but we'll be taking every cent of that back out of your country and then taking it back over to Aussie shores. But this is something that the Tigers always do. They used to take one of their games to Christchurch every year. So I used to drive up and watch that game whenever they played the Warriors there. It was the only time you could watch an NRL game. So this isn't anything new. And I don't think this wipes the tab that
that Volandis owes us.
That Volandis still owes us. I think Origin's probably the only thing that could wipe that. But I'll defer to you, Lane. That's your natural home.
Yeah.
What can the Tigers expect?
Can they expect 1,000 pitch invasions like we got in Napes?
Yeah. No, I don't think so. I think your typical Hamiltonian will not pitch invade. I mean, they'll get hammered. Don't worry about that. You wait.
They'll be past their prime by the get there. They're just sort of holding on, sitting there.
Because look at a Chiefs fan. A Chiefs fan and a Warriors fan are very similar folk, and I think they're going to get right in behind it. You'll see some great moulets. You'll see some like we did in the Chiefs games, those magnificent humans there. I think it'll be great, but my only concern in Hamilton is these two NRL teams in Hamilton. I hope that the Warriors have looked at that and they will be busing them in and out of Hamilton and back to Auckland because two NRL teams at the Outback or on Hood Street there
Hood Street.
and the Chlamydia Triangle, there's not a lot of room to move. Can get a bit frisky. You can feel a little bit too relaxed and a little bit too...
We don't want an end of the season, this point when the Warriors are so close to
Correct.
some absolute fucking scandalous brouhaha blowout.
To be tempted by the Hamilton Devil, which is known as the Outback, and drinking illusions.
Trip up on the last hurdle.
Yeah, that's right. That's my only concern. Like, I love that the people of Hamilton and Waikato have gotten behind it. Sold FML out stadium. They'll be stoked with that. I'm just concerned potentially that it could be a ginormous banana skin.
Get them in, get them out.
Yeah.
Ginormous banana skin covered in chlamydia.
Well, like you say, that Hood Street is ominous enough as it is without turning 30 NRL players loose.
I know.
So
60 really. You got two squads and you got management and hangers on.
Yeah. Curtain raisers.
Yeah. Oh, the curtain raisers as well. You got the youngsters too.
There's going to be a bit going on down
Jesus.
there.
We need to involve the army here. We need some air support.
The Air Force need to be on standby in case we need to nuke Hamilton.
We just need some. I'm more keen about players. Some choppers can land on the Hamilton Old Boys ground behind Rugby Park and just extract them and just take them out of the situation.
Yeah.
Back up to Auckland, back up to maybe the international airport. They can say goodbye to the Tigers, and then the Warriors can go home to their families.
Yeah.
In Hamilton. That's
about
all I'm saying.
It's about the only thing that could trip them up at the moment. So many Aussie media, I've been saying this for the last few weeks now, but so many Aussie media outlets are now talking about, can the Warriors upset the Panthers? The Panthers are still by far and away the favourites to win the NRL this year. But all of the Aussie pundits are now saying, well, could the Warriors actually tip them up? And I saw you put in the rundown, could we fall out of the top four? Is there any way that could happen? And mathematically, it could. We're on 32 points. Storm and Raiders are on 30. They've got pretty easy runs home as well. But I think that the only way we actually do fall out of the top four is if we have an absolute shocker in the Tron. We have a Hood Street emergency. We lose more players.
Shocker in the Tron.
Yeah.
A horror in Hamilton.
Yeah. In the city of the future. Nothing rhymes with future, so I can't stitch something in there.
Go tits up in the Tron.
Tits up in the Tron, yeah. So if it goes tits up in the Tron, that's the only way we fall out of the four. But short of that.
The Pong and the Tron.
Yeah. Nah.
Okay, so we've got commentary.
Mong in the Tron.
Yeah, if we have a Mong in the Tron. Other than the Mong Tron, we're sweet.
So that commentary is on Saturday night, 7:30, Sky Sport 9. Di Henwood, Ben Hurley bringing you the coverage of that game. So tune into that. Should be a bloody cracker from the Tron. Can I show you something here, Matt Heath? Have you seen this new Russian sport of phone box boxing? Like,
it's
basically you put two dudes in a phone box. They have back-to-back in a phone box, and then they count down to like 3, 2, 1, then they turn around and beat the living shit out of each other.
How long are rounds? There's definitely no court work, is there? There's
to
no
the death, isn't it? Is that what it looks like?
I think it's till one slumps to the ground at the bottom of the phone booth.
Yeah.
But any other sports you think you could contract into a smaller court?
That's a common phrase in boxing. He wants to fight him in a phone booth, or he could fight him in a phone booth, and it's about like backing your opponent into a corner. And obviously the Russians have been like, well, fuck, let's actually do it.
Yeah.
Let's see how we go. I reckon the only practical application for that is if they find a Ukrainian in a phone booth, he's fair fucked. But outside of
it's
that,
a fair fight though. You're not going to, no one's going to be sending drones in there or like.
How many phone booths do they still have? And how many men are in Russia that have enough gumption about them to be fighting each other in phone booths, but not enough to go and face the Ukrainians on the front line? What are they?
And
how are they allocating their resources?
Are these phone booths? Are they glass and wood? Are they real phone booths?
Yeah,
because you're just going to put your elbow through the glass and we get a bleeder about 30 seconds.
There's no glass. It's more. It's just more on the space and containment. So I did think that, and I actually saw a guy lean through and tap him on the shoulder and say, "You've killed him."
Well, that's definitely smart.
I think that you're right about shrinking the field, impacting a lot of different games. I think that football, soccer, having just watched so much of it over the last few weeks, is the first one that needs to change. I think that if we maybe halved it, I know they got that Brazilian futsal or whatever they do.
Oh, yes.
Just
Yeah.
halve it, have scores be 10-8, you know?
No goalkeeper.
Maybe pull the goalie. But I just think football, there's so much, like the field is so big, there's so much running. Don't they run like a marathon every game, those professional players? So I reckon shrink that court down.
Have you watched any of Ice Cube's 3-on-3 basketball league?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it is pretty good.
That's brilliant thought on his part. He goes, you got these great players, they're still the great players, but they can't do a whole season and they can't really do a whole game, but you can just bring someone back that's an amazing guy. They can play a bit of 3-on-3. It's awesome.
Because you don't go from retiring from the NBA to not being able to play basketball.
No, you just go from not being able to play 1,000 games in a row.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that one too. I reckon also, as we said, I think earlier on this week, lower the hoop in netball and allow dunks.
Yeah.
While we're shrinking the courts of things.
I think potentially cricket could shorten the pitch. Particularly, I think in women's cricket, just to get the pace on the ball a bit more.
Right.
So you can hit bigger.
They shrink the boundaries, don't they?
Yeah, we'll shrink the pitch. I think shrinking the pitch is probably more necessary than shrinking the boundary,
Yeah.
if I'm honest.
I know the NRLW is working on a smaller ball because they have to play with the same bloke-sized ball because the Steeden don't make a smaller ball.
Oh, right.
And the one they do, it's made out of the same leather, so they can't, or whatever it is, so they can't kick it very far because it's like a block of wood at that size.
Can you, I don't know if you better remember Manaia, you might be a bit young, but you definitely will, Matt Heath. Can you remember the old brown Adidas balls that we used to, leather balls you used to play with as a kid?
I've seen them.
They were very absorbent.
They were like, it was so absorbent. And I remember the games when it was wet and you go, God damn it. And when you're in bare feet and the laces were actually laces, like there's no lace on a ball anymore. It's just where you plug the nipple in to pump it up. But they actually had laces and then like a rubber thing sticking out of it. So if you had bare feet and you were punting that leather ball, first of all, you break your leg with a wet ball. And it goes, I shit you not, it would be here to like 2 meters away.
Any kind of falcon activity was fatal.
Oh. And then I remember having to take the ball home. Like if you were on, everyone had turns of washing all the gear. So you had to take the gear home and wash it. And you had to dry the ball as well, and you had to put the ball in the hot water cupboard, and you put it in the hot water cupboard for like 3 days for it to dry out. And then it would be up there, and it'd be like all the mud coming off it, and then you go, oh, this is what it was supposed to be like.
Was it leather?
Yeah, it's like it was brown Adidas, and then it had black ends, black on the ends.
The old pigskin.
I've seen
very,
it.
very, very absorbent.
It can't have been conducive to good football either.
Terrible. Speaking of truncating the game, how are we going for our T1 league?
Oh, we've got a lot to get through because we've got T1 and then we've also got base 4-6. Remember?
Yeah.
We've got the cricket.
So for people that haven't heard us talking about, the T1 is there's one person per team, one ball, one bat.
Yeah, that's it.
It's one-on-one.
It's one-on-one.
Yeah, you got fielders. You got fielders, but they build generic.
Yeah, they're generic fielders that are supplied by the tournament.
Yeah.
Well, what's their motivation though? Why would a fielder even bother going for a catch or to cut off a run?
We pay them. There's a awards.
You've got
system.
one Guptill. You can place.
Yeah.
You've got one Guptill you can place.
Yeah.
The rest are just robots. I mean, they could be all AI robots.
NPCs.
We'll work it out. But you bowl one ball, and then you swap around, and they bowl one ball. Wides are still in there though, so
Yes, and so
you
balls.
can actually
all the normal rules.
Yeah.
So the
apply.
scores are like 1-0.
Yeah,
Yes.
so you steam in and you bowl, and then you pad up, and then you face up, and that's the game over.
Well, the advantage to this,
It's where short form cricket's going.
well, absolutely, and I think you can do a World Cup in one evening between
In a day,
between 7 at night and 9:30, you can do an entire
Who
World
would you
Cup.
select? Who would you select if New Zealand was going to the T1 World Cup?
Yeah. All time or current?
Yeah. What does the T stand for? Because we worked out how it works.
T1.
21.
It's just T1. Team one.
Yeah, team one. Yes,
Team
team
one.
of one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So if you were going to pick one current player to send to the World T1,
I would send Jimmy Neesham. What do you eat for food?
Yeah, but look, I mean,
3 wides.
yeah, like I don't know. What's more important, the big
Maybe.
hit or the bowl? It's like do you add a Milne?
I think the hit's way more important than the bowl.
Right. Okay. Well,
Don't you? Because if you
Well, I'll
send
tell
a
you what, then
bowler-
it wouldn't be a bad idea to send Tim Southey because he's good to get one over the boundary.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have a Corey Anderson. You know, like in the past, you'd have a Corey Anderson or a Chris Cairns or
You got Gulliver. Carl
yeah.
Jamieson.
Yeah.
Gulliver.
It'd be he could bowl a difficult length. You wouldn't know whether he was going to go back of a length or full or what was going on. And then he's got big levers.
Because you need a boundary, don't you, if you're going to win this, really?
Yeah, you need to
Singles.
find
Especially if you bat first.
Yeah.
Because you'd be often chasing nothing.
What the pressure though? You're chasing nothing. There's a lot of pressure there. Like, to just knock because the field will come in, obviously.
Yeah.
So you've got to hit a boundary.
Yeah.
Well, in the interest of speeding the game up even more, would the bowler have to bowl in pads as well? Just
Well,
because
we were thinking maybe because
No pads.
no pads.
Well, Lane was brought up. There's a league in India that plays with kind of a no
Like a
pads
tennis
with
ball,
this
yeah.
kind of weird ball. So there might be an argument to play like that, just so you don't have to piss around and blow the game out to 3 minutes by
padding up.
Padding up.
I just don't think. I think the pads.
Either you can bowl in pads or bat in pads.
It's up to you.
Like you, what you're wearing when you go on the field
Is what you're wearing.
So you decide, can I bowl? And maybe if you're twirling them down, you might be able to play in pads.
Yes.
Because you see
bowling pads.
the close in fielders, the silly Madons under the helmet, they have those big shin guards underneath their pants.
Oh, like wicket-keeping pads.
Yeah, you could just wear wicket-keeping pads. Like you can bowl in those.
Yeah.
But could you come steaming in? I don't know.
Well, this is the thing. And say you're against Neil Wagner, and you're playing T1 against Neil Wagner, you're going to have to bowl with a helmet on because you're not going to bat without a helmet on.
No, but like in the short form, that's a no ball.
Yeah, I know, but I know that's a no ball, but it's still going to kill you when it hits you. So
yeah. I mean, I think things you can just take off quickly. Like you don't have to bowl in batting gloves
Because that's a bonus. If one goes over your head and you've got one run and you've got another delivery to face.
and a free hit at
Yeah,
that. So.
yeah. You would have to have a free hit. So that's my God, the pressure to not bowl a no ball is huge.
Yeah, so who do you take? I mean, Colin de Gronholm, but he's retired now. He would be my pick.
Because there is something with it not coming onto the bat too fast as well, is it?
Yeah, but then again, that's quite an advantage if you've got a good slower ball or if you bowl a kind of wide Yorker.
Maybe a centre, perhaps.
Oh, yeah,
Still
but
lofted
big
up
enough.
there.
I think de Gronholm's, I think he might have.
You need a six-hitter.
Yeah, you
The
do.
commentary would be interesting. Like you do the big build-up. Welcome to beautiful Tamaki Makoto. A lovely day, a perfect day for the T1. And then basically the game's over.
Yeah, no, but,
Okay, thank you.
But you can, like I said, you could do a World Cup format. Everyone can play everyone once, and then they go into the knockout rounds, and then we have a final.
Stream the whole thing on TikTok.
Yeah.
Because it only goes for an hour.
We should fucking just put this tournament together, even if it's just with a bunch of Muppets, and just try it out.
Yeah. And then you can grab some little 15 to 16-year-old cunt and go, are you entertained? Are you entertained?
Does this work for your fucking TikTok? Yeah. Short attention span.
Piece of shit.
Are you happy? Because this is where it's fucking going.
He's got his head and I'm just rubbing it in the phone, just rubbing his face in the phone.
There's a winner every 3 minutes, you little prick. What do you want?
What do you want? What do you want from this game?
It's a good idea.
Before we move on from the Russian phone booth at UFC, have you seen the professional pillow fighting
Yes, I
league?
have. And for me, I'm waiting for it to turn into a porno.
Yeah. I agree. It'd be better in some kind of sorority house situation.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I've seen that as well. And I've also seen the balloon keepy uppy world champs.
I love that.
Where they
I love
set
that.
up like a lounge
Yeah,
outside
I love
the
that.
arena.
I love that.
We need to think of one of our own for that and just really lean into it. We do have the Kiwi Pong champs coming up on the 2nd of September. And if you want to get a team in that, text Pong to 3236. It's a Pro-Am this year, so it's invite only. Up at Miss Lucy's in Auckland, and then we are going to have the final at a secret location in Manaia. Me and you have got a team in.
Yes, we do. We haven't had a team name yet. We need to brainstorm that and a costume.
The Alternative Cup Collective or something.
Yeah,
That's not bad.
Cup collectors.
The Cup Collectors.
Because we collect our opponents' cups.
Yeah. What if we make the final? It's going to be awkward because we're going to have to commentate our own final.
Well, it's going to seem rigged, certainly,
Yeah.
but
There's no way we're going to win.
Well,
Have
you've
you seen
commentated
some?
while you're having a vasectomy. I'm sure you can pull off a...
So that's going to be. So yeah, jump online, have a look if you want to see. The winner actually goes to Bali to compete in an international event in Bali.
not to rehab their image.
No, not to get a dangerously shit tattoo from Brent Todd and then open a wellness retreat.
Nothing untoward.
Okay, righto. Also, we're releasing a bunch of playlists on iHeartRadio very soon, but we need your help with getting together some tunes actually.
Yep.
So if you could send us some suggestions on 3236. I think the themes we're going for a playlist to drink piss to.
Yep.
A playlist, a sporting victory playlist.
Yep.
And then we are doing, now that's what I call DJ A-Hole Volume 1. So if you've got a real A-Hole mix, just let us know, 32364 fire us through whatever you want. And we've got a whole lot of Black Flaps and ACC T-shirts to give away if you help us out, because we've reached about 30 songs and we're stuck.
Have we got the Alan Parsons Project song in there? I think it's called Serious, but it's the one that Michael Jordan's Bulls used to walk out to.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's a banger,
I know that one. Yeah. Anything like that, like a sports occasion one where we could play in the changing room, would be good. That's the sports one, and the piss drinking one, and then the just real shitters.
Does a Chumbawamba tub thumping end up in the DJ A-Hole or the piss drinking songs?
A-Hole. That's an A-Hole tune for me. I always get accused of being my favourite song because I come from Hamilton. But we all know that the favourite Hamiltonian tune, and I hope they play it at the Warriors, is Cotton Eye Joe.
Yeah, right.
You know, you might have Wagon Wheel down the South Island, and the upper North Island.
It's just Cotton Eye Joe's just Wagon Wheel on meth, isn't it? Really?
Yeah,
that's what Hamilton is basically Dunedin on meth.
Yeah,
So it makes sense.
Also, got some more stuff to give away, actually. Thanks to Dulux, we've got Backing Black. It's a chance to win an epic Panasonic home theatre system worth over $6,000.
Wowie.
It's got like the 55-inch OLED TV, the soundbar, the Technics, wireless headphones so you can watch sport without being interrupted or waking the house up, plus a $500 Dulux voucher. All you have to do is prove that you're backing black. You just have to paint something, anything, black. Preferably not your face. Anything you want, take a photo and send it through to us. For all the details on that, just text Dulux to 3236. We'll send you out a test pot if you want as well, a black test pot, and you can paint whatever you want, your doorknob, your rugby ball, your letterbox, cricket bat. My son painted his cricket bat black, which was interesting.
Yeah, ruined the ball that he's playing with.
Well, he's ruined the bat really now, but he was back in black. He was backing black. He was willing to sacrifice his little, size 4 grey Knicks. That he'd found.
Size 4 grey Knicks.
Yeah. Great Knicks. Not great. No, grey nickels.
Oh, grey Knicks.
Not as nickels.
Size 4 grey Knicks is what Sigourney Weaver was wearing at the end of Alien, that movie. Why she turned up at the end of that movie in just a tiny pair of boys' undies, I don't know.
It's hot though. On our TAB Good Punt this week as well, I've gone for the FIFA Women's World Cup. And I've gone for an outright winner. Looking at teams, I've looked. I mean, a few of the favourites have been knocked out. Germany and USA have been knocked out, and some other ones look pretty av. But one team that's ploughed the way through has been Japan.
Yes, I'm going to see them on Friday.
Yes, so I have put the outright winner of the FIFA World Cup on Japan with our TAB Good Punt this week. They're paying $5.
I can't fault that. They look clinical against every team that they've played.
Totally.
They don't look like flukes. They're putting goals in the net.
And there's very little emotion.
Yeah.
It seems like they're on a mission, the Japanese team.
Yeah.
You see other teams, South American teams, they're all crying and partying. And even the English, did you see them all partying in the change room? But you don't see that from the Japanese.
No.
They're like, we're on a mission. We're going to win this fucking thing.
Yeah.
So they're playing Friday night, aren't they? Sweden.
Yes, Sweden at Eden Park.
I've had to answer some very difficult questions from my children. My children are into the Women's FIFA World Cup, particularly my daughter, but both my sons, they're into it. We've been to a couple of games. But a couple of questions around the Swedish team from my 11-year-old is, why are they all blonde? Why are they all blonde and got ponytails? And I was like, well, not all blonde. He's like, yeah, they are. And I was like, well, they all are.
Have you heard of Vikings?
Yeah, and they all got blonde hair, blue eyes. And then I've had a couple of difficult questions, and they watched China, and they were like, why are their boys playing? And I got that from my daughter, and I said, they're not boys, they're girls.
They're women.
And he goes, no, they're boys. And I was like, no, they're girls.
It's not for you to say.
And so, so I have to have this conversation where and she's like, it's cheating. It's cheating. And my daughter, I was like, no. And she goes, it's clearly a boy. And I was like, oh.
Wow, that's a shit. We're going to have to cancel your daughter, unfortunately.
I know, yeah. Well, that's the same thing. I was like, well, sorry, Pippi.
You're
cancelled.
That's a hate crime.
I've actually thrown her out of the house.
She's cooked.
She's done.
That's her job.
Her and Lizzo.
I've cancelled her. Yeah.
Just maybe a little bit of time on social media. Her and Lizzo can maybe go to Hamnet Springs Recovery Centre.
Bali.
Start open a wellness retreat.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll go break the news to Pippa that as a, 8-year-old girl, her life's over. Anyway, let's get time for
Toppa Plays of the Week. Brought to you by Leader NZ's Lasagna Toppa.
Right, number 3 on the Toppa Plays of the Week. This came out of the Dunedin Thunder ice hockey goalie post-match, a victory. I mean, like even old Luke Combs, whatever, did a shoey during his performance in New Zealand. Everyone's kind of doing a bit of a shoey. It's a celebration. There's something uniquely disgusting and filthy about an ice hockey boot.
Just ice hockey gear in general. It stinks so bad, no
Have
matter
you
how
ever
much
been
you wash
anywhere
it.
near Joe Jury's
Jury.
ice hockey
Oh
gear?
my god!
Yeah.
He smelled like I don't know what. It's some
An old
sort of
billy goat.
billy goat dead rat. It's so gross.
Yeah.
So this is
His lovely partner KJ won't let it in the house.
Yeah.
Don't blame her. He bought
It
it
shouldn't
to.
even be allowed in the car.
He bought it to work for some shoot, and it was like,
Yeah. He gifted me a hockey jersey one time and he'd already washed it like 3 times. I had to wash it another 5 times just to make it wearable.
It's hard to bring them back.
So the Dunedin Thunder goalie in the changing room afterwards, he whips his skate off, and I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I said to Joe Jury, I was like, he's put a plastic cup in there, like Shuey Vasa Sheck at the Warriors. I said, he's cheating. He's definitely got to put. And Joe went to him and he goes, no, he hasn't. And I mean, here, listen to the scenes from the changing room. Anyway, yeah, good on. They did when he's probably still recovering from some sort of athlete's mouth now.
Very ice hockey. He would have been missing a few teeth as well, so it would have got right into the gums
Oh, gross. Anyway, second on the top of plays of the week, I've always gone on about the green whistle. I love the green whistle. It is like it's an anesthetic they give you when you've received some sort of broken bone. It's a green thing, you just inhale on it. And an injured rugby player over in England was spotted on the sideline having a hoon on the green whistle, and it's a great piece of footage of him, his eyes rolling to the back of his head, and this is what the commentator said to say.
There's Sam Cross, knee brace on. Well, each to their own.
Because we did it, and he just his eyes were like it was fluttering, when your eyes flutter and you can just see the whites.
Yeah.
And then he comes to like he's had a hit of her nang, and then he's gone straight back on the whistle. Straight back on the whistle. Great New Zealander, and number one player of the week, and it's a gift that keeps on giving, and it's Captain R. Fleming, who drew an incredibly detailed dick and balls above Golden Bay with the letters ACC across the top of the shaft of the penis, almost perfectly in shape. And it ended up in the local newspaper because there was some shocked and disgusted locals who wanted to know who drew his phallic object.
Yeah.
I mean, the only reason they know about that phallic object is because he posted it, his Sky Tracker.
Otherwise, it's just a plane flying around.
Yeah.
But the Sky Tracker is where it is. So it's funny. You couldn't look up and see it.
No.
Unless he's laying down some chemtrails, do your own research. But my favourite part about this thing is that people have been like, why has he done that? Who's done that? And then all they would have seen is the ACC, and yet another instance of us being confused for the Accident Compensation Corporation. They would have been like, my back surgery was 3 fucking months ago and I still haven't been paid out for that. And this guy's up here drawing dicks in the sky? Not good enough. Not good enough. I got accosted down in the Octagon in Dunedin over the weekend by some people who read my shirt that said the ACC, and they said, I actually have been waiting for approval on a surgery. And I said, approved. It's all approved. Go for it. You're in.
We get that quite a lot every summer. Like the poor girl who had the 021 curly 6 phone, not the 022 1 curly 6.
Yeah.
But we get quite a few people complaining on and we approve them all.
Yep.
They message us because ours is the ACC and Z. I think they're just ACC.
Approval is guaranteed.
Oh yeah, when it's approved.
At the ACC.
6 weeks off. Full pay.
Approved. And then on the opposite side of the scale, the ACC New Zealand, the Accident Compensation Corporation, every summer get the filthiest texts and abuse as well. Because people, our audience love to abuse us, which is totally fine. But I think the level of abuse that we get as a kind of as more of a humour based.
Yeah.
It's taken out of context and sent to a government department.
It's just pure vitriol.
But I think they finally cottoned on because then they would reply and copy us in. I think you're meaning to contact these guys.
We must be the bane of their existence.
Yeah, well,
They used to be just across the road from us, which was really confusing for people because people would come to visit us.
Yeah, and then we had the
They
Auckland,
just happened to be coincidentally just down there.
and also we've got the Auckland City Council. So
There was
we've
the
got-
ACC, the ACC, and the ACC all in one block.
Because people would come and see us, and there'd be ACC parking over there. It'd say ACC city parking
With a
only.
well flash.
And they go, whoa, and there's like 100 parks, but then like there's some city council parks, and it's the traffic team as well.
Why does James McConey keep parking outside?
Well, to be fair, he's got a number of issues that's currently before the Accident Compensation Corporation.
Oh, thanks for joining us. That is the feature-length agenda for Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow for the Daily. Catch you later.
Let's go.
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda podcast. For more episodes, subscribe on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.